Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Learn English with Podcast. I'm so glad you're here with me today. This is episode 42, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Today's episode is for Level 3, so it's a bit more challenging than Levels 1 and 2. But don't worry, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Today, we're going to take a trip through time. Yes, you heard me right. We're going to imagine what it would be like if we could travel through time. What do you think? Does that sound fun? Have you ever wished you could go back in time? Maybe to fix a mistake or to see something amazing from the past? Or perhaps you want to see the future? We'll talk about all of that today, and along the way, you'll learn lots of new English words and phrases. So, buckle up and get ready for an adventure. Let's jump into our time machine and see where it takes us. Let's start with a simple question. What's the first thing you do in the morning? Maybe you wake up, stretch, and have breakfast, right? But what if you were a time traveller? What would your morning look like? Imagine this. You wake up in a cozy bed, but when you look around, you realise you're not in your room. Instead, you're in a room that looks like it's from the 18th century. There are candles instead of lights, and the furniture is all old-fashioned. What do you do? Now let me ask you, how would you feel? Excited, confused, maybe a little scared? Imagine smelling freshly baked bread, hearing the sound of horses outside, and seeing people dressed in clothes from hundreds of years ago. Would you try to blend in, or would you panic? Let's say you decide to blend in. You get out of bed and look for some clothes to wear, but oh no, all the clothes are strange and complicated. There are no jeans or t-shirts here. Instead, there's a long dress or a suit with a vest. How do you put it on? It's like a puzzle. Have you ever tried wearing something from a different time period? Maybe for Halloween? It's not easy, right? After finally getting dressed, you go downstairs. But what's for breakfast? There's no cereal or toast. Instead, there's porridge, bread, and maybe some cheese. Would you try it? Or would you miss your modern breakfast? What's the strangest food you've ever eaten? Would you be brave enough to try 18th century food? After breakfast, you decide to go outside. As you step out, the first thing you notice is that the air smells different. There's no pollution, just the fresh scent of grass and flowers. Can you imagine how clean the air must have been back then? What do you think? Would you enjoy that? Or would you miss the hustle and bustle of modern life? As you walk down the street, you see people everywhere, but something is strange. They're all staring at you. Why do you think that is? Oh, wait, you're still wearing your modern shoes. No wonder everyone is looking at you like you're from another planet. Quick, hide your sneakers. Have you ever been in a situation where you stood out from the crowd? Maybe you wore the wrong clothes to a party or said something that made everyone look at you. How did that feel? Now, let's explore the market. There are no supermarkets here. Instead, there are stalls with fresh vegetables, fruits, and meats. The sellers are shouting, trying to get people to buy their goods. Fresh apples! Get your fresh apples here! Can you picture it? What would you buy at a market like this? Would you be able to communicate with the sellers? Let's have a little fun now. Imagine you want to buy something, but you don't know how much it costs. How do you ask in English? How much is this? Is a simple question, but what if the price is in a currency you don't understand? Imagine trying to pay with modern money, and the seller looks at you like you're crazy. What's this? Paper money? They might say. What would you do? After spending a day in the past, let's take our time machine to the future. What do you think the future will be like? Flying cars? Robots doing all our chores? Or maybe everything is online, and you don't even need to leave your house? Imagine you step out of the time machine and everything is so different. The buildings are tall and shiny, and people are wearing strange clothes that light up. How would you feel? Excited to explore or maybe a bit overwhelmed? Let's say you walk into a store, but it's not like any store you've ever seen. There are no cashiers, just machines that scan your hand to know what you want to buy. Wouldn't that be cool? Or maybe a little creepy? What do you think? Now, let's imagine you meet someone from the future. How do you talk to them? Do you think English will still be the same? Or will it change? Maybe people will use a lot of new words, and it will be hard to understand them. What do you think some of those new words might be? Maybe instead of phone, they'll say communitron, or instead of car, they'll say autopod. It's fun to think about, isn't it? Now, here's a big question for you. If you could stay in the past or the future, which would you choose? Would you stay in the 18th century where life is simple, or would you stay in the future where everything is advanced? Or maybe you'd just want to go back to your own time? Think about it. The past has its charm. No noisy traffic, no pollution, and life is slower. But it's also hard. No modern medicine, no internet, no phones. Could you live without those things? On the other hand, the future is full of possibilities. Technology makes life easier, but it might also make us lazy. What if robots do everything for us? What would we do all day? Would we be happy? Or would we get bored? What would you miss the most from your current life if you lived in the past or future? Your friends? Your favorite TV shows? Maybe your pet? It's a tough choice, isn't it? As our time-traveling adventure comes to an end, it's time to return to the present. But before we go, let's think about what we've learned today. Traveling through time, whether in the past or future, makes us appreciate the present, doesn't it? We realize how lucky we are to have modern conveniences, but we also see the value in a simpler life. So, what do you think? Would you want to be a time traveler? And if you could choose, which time would you visit first? Think about it, and maybe even write down your thoughts. It's a great way to practice your English. Remember, learning a language is like a journey through time. You start with simple words, and as you learn more, you move forward, discovering new phrases and expressions. Just like a time traveler, you're exploring a new world, one word at a time. Thank you for joining me on this adventure today. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Keep practicing your English and who knows, maybe one day you'll be able to talk about time travel in perfect English. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning and remember, anything is possible, even time travel.